Hello, peoples of the internet. Today I will be driving some Volkswagen since the brand is not in Horizon 3 and I need to kind of pay tribute to them. I'll be driving this Golf R you see here, which is tuned to S-Class, and a A-Class Volkswagen Type 2, which is the minivan thingy. Now here you'll see I'm going up against all these race cars and it's not actually doing too badly. I like this vehicle in terms of handling. I don't like the vehicle that replaces it though. The handling of that just feels somewhat less fun. The same thing happened with the Subarus. The old ones are pretty good, but then the new ones just don't seem as exciting. Maybe they just corner better or something and I don't like good handling cars. I don't know. Whoa. Yeah, this is only 245 tyres. The Volkswagen bus has 255s, and that's in a lower class. Although that is rear-wheel drive, mind. And there's that Lancia. Whoa, 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 gotta get on the brakes. I think I can say I'm not a good driver. It probably doesn't help that I've put the driver tires on unbeatable. When, yeah, naturally, I can't handle them. But it does depend on the vehicles. If I have the right vehicle, I can actually compete with them relatively well. It's just, sometimes it's hard. And I've smashed my side window back there, which is annoying. Because it was such a perfect car when we started. It had a body kit and everything. Maybe it looked more race car than it actually is. I mean, I'm running over 500 horsepower through this thing, so it's probably not ideal. These things ship with supposedly about 260. That must be remembered. I am on race tyres and stuff though. That cannot be forgotten. Whoa. Just clip that apex there. I feel like the brakes should be a little better. I'm not sure what tune I've got on here. Nothing too fancy. That's for sure. Yeah, they're leaving me behind. Let's just pretend I'm in first and leave it at that. I really am hoping I'll have much more luck with a van though. I mean, it's not a van as such, it's more of an MPV. Since it's got seats in the back. For what this is, it makes the driving surprisingly controllable actually. I mean, you can see it's struggling a little to put the power down, but that's just mainly understeer and me trying to reduce the understeer by transferring the weight to the front wheels and getting it around the corner. The brakes feel like they could be stronger, but we must remember it still is a Golf. Even as a go faster kind of Golf, it's a Golf, it's not a Ferrari. I mean, I've not fallen off the track yet. Not too badly, at least. That counts for something, right? Right, I've got a new target. Instead of trying to beat the AIs, I'm just going to try not to get overlapped. There's the pits on my left. Won't be going in there yet. I feel like with a white tune on it, and maybe an inferior tyre compound, this thing could be a complete monster. But I'm too scared to drop below race tyres, especially on something this significantly tuned. Let's also talk about the design of the car then. I think they've done quite a decent job of de-chroming this. Like, you look at some BMWs and they still have chrome on the grille and stuff. But I'm under the logic, if you're going to put chrome on a car, you might as well fully chrome it out as opposed to just putting a tiny bit of chrome here and there. There's some chrome on the exhaust, but I've got a body kit, so that could be causing that. Since it comes with different exhaust to standard, I believe. I mean, this Golf didn't really evolve much in terms of design. It's the same as a model from about 2004 really, despite being about 10 years, 8 years newer than that. Okay, so I'm back after the recording had to end because game DVR is a slight mess and ooh, I'm drifting. Yeah, I think that's easily distracted. I was talking about how the car's quite nicely V-chromed, which I believe in. Yay! I do like the Audi S3 Saloon though. I don't know why, I just like the look of that car. I don't like bigger Audis, I just like that one in particular. It's quite a nice vehicle as well. Real sleeper that. And you can put different bumpers on as well that turn it into even more of a sleeper. I think we'll still get that in Horizon 3 because it's classified as an Audi, not a Volkswagen. So, yay! It also kind of acts like the new Golf R. I believe it's specificationally very, very similar to that vehicle. And since that's gone, I mean, I'll see people turning to that probably. It's a shame we missed this one though. I mean, we do have the old Audi RS3 Sportback, which is a similar enough vehicle. It's got the 5-cylinder engine instead of a 4-cylinder on this, but I do believe it's the same platform. I could be wrong, but the handling of that does seem to somewhat resemble this. That's a nice handling car too. You can have two 75s as well, I believe, which are better for putting the power down. As you'll see, this is struggling a little. I mean, there's always cars you can kind of use in the Volkswagen place, but they don't have a Volkswagen logo, which will probably drive some people mad. Because it has to be real to them. Get a drift round here. This makes a surprisingly good drift car, actually. These are incredibly well balanced. I'm not sure if that's a mistake on Forza's part, but these have 54% of weight over front from standard. Most all-wheel drive cars have more front weight than that. I believe the GTR might be 55%, and somehow I smashed my windscreen there by tapping the back of my car. Yeah, I didn't destroy the rear window, I just destroyed the windscreen by tapping the rear of my car on the wall. Doesn't make much sense if you ask me. I'm not even sure how much this revs to, let's see. Revs to about 7,900 before I need to shift. That's quite good. Slightly above average there. See, it can't rival the old naturally aspirated VTECs though. They rev over 9,000, which is just really crazy stuff. Now, when this thingy actually finishes loading, I can go on to the Volkswagen Bus, which is a vehicle I'm sure a few people will miss. They made surprisingly good vehicles in the lower classes. They tip over a little, but, you know, tuning one to A-Class you will really see the flaws in the vehicle. They were never made for that. There's when I got tuned for E-Class with a stock engine. 150 naturally aspirated, but no. Here we have a twin-turbo Porsche engine, I believe, making 729 horsepower. But more importantly, it has a roof rack. Just check that engine for you. Yep, we've got the Porsche engine and the aspiration conversion. It's a really heavy engine in this, more so than the V8. If we just check the weight balance, 46% front. You can have these 51% front if you make them all-wheel drive and stuff, but I didn't want to do that with this. I tried that before, and it didn't quite work. Now here you'll see it's a very nice vehicle. I did a video comparing one to a rally fighter before. I believe it may have beat it. That was a D-Class tune. And there's our lovely, lovely Volkswagen interior. But that's not where the fun starts. The fun starts in the rear seats, which you can actually slide along. And we can take the roof off. I mean, it's a really nice, versatile, all-round vehicle, this. Something that I'll actually really miss in Horizon 3, because it was just the right kind of vehicle for that game. Okay, so now we can return to the outdoors. Oh. Now we have got a roll cage. in this van, which is craziness. You can see the roof wall back there. And it actually has a engine model here. It's the standard engine in this case, although I have swapped the engine, it still lets you open the boot. It doesn't normally do that. I mean, that's not the boot, that's the engine cover. The boot is up here, and it should open if it lets me. Come on. No, it won't let me. For some reason, it still lets me see the stock engine, which isn't in there, but it doesn't let me see the boot. Basically, you have a small space behind that rear seat where you can put things. It's not much of particular interest there. We have these random beams at the bottom. If you actually paint the vehicle in wood, I think they go to look like wood as well. And we have some wheels, which I think are quite heavy. You probably assume that would stop it tipping over for some reason. So, let's take this racing. Only not around Simona this time. Yeah, I forgot mid-sentence what the track was called. You know, let's take this round a tight technical circuit. Exactly what everyone wants to do in their camper van. It does have a nice interior though. It's kind of like some of the old American cars in its own way. Only it seats loads more people. And has a air-cooled 4-cylinder engine from standard. Only this is a massive flat 6. It does keep the centre of gravity lower, which when something is this tip prone, you really want to keep the centre of gravity down as much as you can, which is why I went for it over the lighter V8. Also, it's rear-wheel drive, so it means the weight is over the driven axle, and it should give more grip, theoretically. I'm not sure if Forza actually simulates the centre of gravity, but I'm just assuming it does. There we have a Corvette, and this is a vehicle that could actually give them a run for their money, hopefully, as I just throw it into a wall and I need to brake. Thankfully the drag tyres are very, very good at braking. They do give it a lot of understeer though. Ooh. I hit a Formula Mazda. There's not much crash protection with these though, so if you do actually hit a Formula Mazda in real life, you might want to expect a little pain. Although I believe they are very lightweight vehicles, so they probably wouldn't exactly dig through it like a muscle car might. And oh no, the wall gripped me. No, he's pushing me. I'm struggling for grip, and I got pushed into a wall by one of the AIs. Thankfully, I can give the Ferrari a face full of smoke, because that's what we do when we're cruising. I've literally trapped the Ferrari behind my Volkswagen bus. Not an expression I thought I would say in Forza, but hey, I did. Oh dear. Clearly I'm used to the Golf though, that you just floor it everywhere and it'll put the power down no matter what. This, it's rear-wheel drive, so with only 255s in the rear and 729 horsepower, so it can get a bit chaotic even with the drag tyres. That's something I don't seem to see. I mean, as long as you're respectful, this vehicle is actually okay around the corners. I mean, maybe not round Long Beach, but it's not as bad as you would think for what it is. But then, I'm driving it. These could make decent drift cars though. If you had lower grade tyres on, they could probably make decent drift cars. The way I've tuned this though is ultimately it slides before it tips. I believe I've gone with an open differential deliberately so it does that, because sliding is generally a lot safer than it tipping over. And that's why I built it that way. You know, it's just far too far to push one of these though, that has to be said. If I had this in, say, B class, it would probably struggle. C class, it would probably be pretty decent. And below then it's good as well. But it's just pushing it too far to expect it to deal with A class or beyond. Given I don't believe I've smashed my windows yet, which is a success for me. Oh, alright now. After this I'm going to try and actually drive the vehicle properly. Now maybe I'm just over accelerating. Maybe I'm not respecting that it is a 700 plus horsepower van like I should be, so maybe a little gentle around here. Trouble is, they're drag tyres, so if you're gentle they understeer, if you're aggressive they oversteer. Just delicately round that corner and then floor it. I'm not being overlapped though, again that has to be said, is a positive to me. And I'm braking far too early now. I seem to forget just how good the brakes are, because the brakes are better than the rest of the vehicle. Whoa, got a bit of slide out there. I'm just thinking, one thing I have improved will be the reliability of this. Yes, it's a 729 horsepower Porsche engine, but these things were never exactly known for reliability. My E-Class vehicle though, that's probably a complete mess. I mean, it's a modified version of a standard engine, and that could go on quite easily. It has to be said, in this vehicle's credit though, this particular one, the tippiness isn't as bad as my E-Class car. Given the E-Class vehicle, just because it's so underpowered, doesn't tip as easily as you would expect one of these two. The way I've tuned it, it doesn't tip too bad. I think this needs some differential tuning though, because it feels like in that particular area it's a complete mess. I believe the front tyres are 255s as with the rear. I don't want to make those narrower because of how drag tyres try and make everything understeer more than it normally does. But I could if I wanted to. It comes with something ridiculous, probably 165s I guess. Because back then they just didn't know how to put hugely wide tyres together. So they had to make them narrow I guess. When I try and drive this, it's actually quite a reasonably capable vehicle. No, I'm not saying I'm going to be beating supercars every day, but for an old Volkswagen van tuned to A-Class, you could expect a lot worse. And this thing just won't tip over unless you actually throw it over a curb at quite high speed or something. Anything will tip over then though. It actually reminds me of the Super Sport van in BeamNG. That's a slightly crazy thing to drive, but it's fun just to see something that mad have such the swift turn of pace it does. And I mean, I'm running out of things to say. I can't really talk about this vehicle because I'm taking my time around this track and somehow I've slowed down really quickly. And yet you'll see, I just floor it and it spins the wheels up. Maybe I should change the gear ratios a little there. But I've barely broken this tune in. I mean, I've not spent hours and hours on it. It was just a crazy idea that I thought might work, and surprisingly it did stop it tipping over putting drag tyres on. Conventional logic would say putting drag tyres on a vehicle like this would get it to tip over more, just because it would have so much cornering grip, but it doesn't. Maybe it's just the other side of the vehicle grips to the road and doesn't lift off as easily. Maybe it's just my crazy rear-wheel drive power output makes it oversteer to the point it's never going to have enough grip to tip over. I'm not sure, but nonetheless it does work the way I always wanted it to work. I mean, I wanted it to work better ideally, but you can only have so much, can't you? And we finished with one working rear light. It's as if they actually designed the rear lights on this to deal with my driving. They put them really inbound, as if so they wouldn't get smashed up on the walls. And it kind of worked, I have to say. But I guess that's it for my attempt at a Forza video. Until next time, goodbye until another day.